senior year of high school is supposed to be one of the most memorable moments of your life. Obviously, the graduating class of 2021 will probably never forget graduating during a pandemic. In tonight's Eye on KELOLAND, Don Jorgensen sits down with 3 seniors to get their thoughts on the pandemic and how it's affected them and changed their lives, they say, forever.
I think that I didn't quite realize, obviously, the severity of it at the beginning.
Avery Dooley, Jaden Fettrell, and Max Mickelson were all juniors when the pandemic first hit last March. They sat down with me via Zoom to talk about the pandemic. Like a lot of us, when it first started, they thought it would be over in a few weeks.
And then as we went throughout the year, and a lot of my senior friends were kind of disappointed about missing all of their special activities like prom and their graduation, I kind of started to realize that the school district was taking this really seriously, as they should.
I thought it was just going to be more of a 2-week thing, and then I'd be back to school in person and, not have to think twice about it. But once it kept getting longer, and then the announcement came that school was going to be completely shut down for the rest of the year, then I started, worrying a little bit.
Their fears weren't unfounded. Hallways went dark, gymnasiums sat empty, and students switched to online learning for the remainder of the year. A lot of their activities got canceled, and that includes this year too. They quickly began to realize that the virus was here for good, and their lives would change forever as they prepared for their senior year.
I thought that there would be a lot of outbreaks, but I think it's been contained really well. The school district has handled it really nice.
All of them say students are doing a good job of wearing their masks and trying to social distance when they can.
Do you feel like you were cheated a little bit out of your last 2 years of your high school career?
The experience that I've had didn't necessarily cheat me out of it, just sort of added a new perspective to my schooling and the way I look at stuff.
I definitely have missed a lot of opportunities that I would have otherwise enjoyed. But then again, I think about all the opportunities that I did have because of COVID. I think it was really important to recognize the kind of connections that I made with people.
All of them say they're grateful to the Sioux Falls School District and school board for how they handled the pandemic back then, but they also appreciate all the hard decisions that went into getting them back into the classrooms for their final year.
We missed out on opportunities like going to Spinsters or other high school activities, but also I think we have to note that we were pretty lucky to be able to go to in-person school at all. I mean, I know so many people who have been online this whole year.
Although it's been tough, they say they have learned a lot about themselves, and somehow, through the support of their friends, teachers, and parents, they've remained positive.
I rolled with the punches as much as I could, and, just sort of enjoy every moment that I can get. I mean, it was one of those things that's, you take away some of the fun stuff, some of the senior, experience. But at the same time, it's still going to be unique because it was still, my senior year, and, COVID was part of that.
I definitely think I'll remember, something I'll tell my kids about, and it's definitely an experience that nobody has ever lived through before that's alive today, and I'll definitely remember that, this is something that the entirety of our nation all experienced the same hardship at once, and it's definitely something to remember, something to tell your kids about.
Looking back on this past year, there's been a lot of ups and downs, lots of, crazy things going on, to say the least. But looking back on it, I think it's, one of the most important events that has occurred in my young life. Is going to be one of the things that, shaped me and helped me learn to adjust and adapt under pressure.
What I'm going to take from the pandemic is to appreciate the small things, the things that we've been missing, like human connection, being able to see your family, being able to gather in large groups, all those things that I kind of just took as they came. I'm now going to kind of appreciate them more and realize that I do miss them when they're not there.
Ironically, they say it'll be a senior year they'll never forget.
One that I for sure will tell my kids about, one of those, hey, back in my day when we had to go to school, the legends of trudging through snow, and well, if you can't breathe, well, I had to wear a mask back in my day, that type of thing.
High school graduation will take place as normal this year. However, the district is asking graduates to only invite up to 6 guests to attend in person and to wear a mask.